name is Jeremiah. For as long as I can remember, I've had an almost morbid fascination with anything and everything paranormal, especially those things that venture into the darkest recesses of our primal fears and spark the thoughts that for most would be the stuff of nightmares. In 2007, this fascination, along with some unexplainable experiences, led me to start a paranormal research team known today as Everyday Legacy Paranormal. Then in 2011, a road trip led myself and a close friend into the darkest places we had ever been. That was the beginning of Road Trip Paranormal. Now, while still active with them, I no longer lead either of those teams, but the people that make them up are the best friends a guy like me could ask for. Myself, along with Jason, Leo, Roth, Max, and Michelle are reaching out to share our passions for everything odd, fringe, and paranormal with the world. We are Cryptic Heartland.
I guess we'll find out here.
Going live.
All
All right. Welcome to the Cryptic Heartland podcast. Wow, that picture is really dark. Why is it that dark there, but it wasn't over there? That's weird.
Is it because I just sat in?
You're just sucking all the light in. Okay, so anyway, yes, welcome back to the Cryptic Heartland podcast, where everything is on the table. Everything is fair game. Nothing's off the table, and we're not afraid to poke the bear.
Or just poke him. We're not afraid to make fun of Roth.
Bring it
Right,
tonight. Bring
right.
it tonight. I'm ready. Fired up. Oh, I got ready to clap again.
Oh, don't clap.
I was like fired up, and then
Just warn me. It's all good.
You didn't give him an
And
interview,
that-
did you?
I did not this
Okay.
time. We're good.
Okay.
Maybe.
And now it's light. What? None of this equipment is making any sense tonight.
That's all right. That's basically how it is on every investigation that we go to.
Right, right.
There's always some kind of technical difficulty with everything that we do. That's all right. All right, right?
Makes it interesting.
Oh, God, yes. Yeah. So what's happening, guys?
man, it couldn't be better. Couldn't be better.
It's all good.
Yeah. Nothing's happening.
Nothing happening? All right.
Oh, we did.
Nice show.
Yeah,
See y'all next week.
That's true. Very interesting.
Don't forget to tip the bartenders.
Leo's not here tonight. He's dealing with being with his family and everything tonight. So we wish him all the love and best wishes with him and his family tonight. We'll see him next weekend. Jake, he's not here. He's with his family, and he said he was going to try to be here, but I don't think he's going to make it. So.
Yeah.
So, but you know.
Sometimes you just
We'll
gotta
handle it.
do other things.
Yeah.
So what does that say about us?
We've got our shit straight.
We have no light.
We have no life.
Our families don't love us and don't want us around.
I got pushed out the front door.
You got pushed out the front door.
Don't you have something to do?
Mm-hmm.
So, Jason,
No.
what's been on the crazy world of Bigfoot here lately?
Uh-oh.
Anything? I know a couple weeks ago we talked about.
You're still going back to the molesting part?
Yeah,
Is that what you're fixated on?
Bigfoot
That's
on
only what you're fixated on is Bigfoot molesting you. Huh?
Bigfoot on Viagra, you know. So
That's that's the second story that was actually in the news.
Yeah.
I read that it was sometime last year. There's a guy who said he was asleep. He heard something fall from the trees, and then it came rushing at him and knocked him in the head. And as he was trying to, it was like taking his pants off and doing everything, and then he had a machete that he was going for, and some idiotic story basically,
Yeah.
and the fact that he said his name, had his picture taken, and was put in the news.
Brave man. Yeah.
I sent that to my brother, to Brendan, and Brent. They both were like, "I'm not even going to acknowledge this story. I'm not even going to look at it. I'm not even going to open it." So.
I think it was right down the street in Colorado too, so that's pretty close.
And then you got this guy in the news who wasn't there somebody injured, put in the hospital?
But that,
With
in
this,
Nepal.
with this one,
Yeah, they had two of the
Sherpas.
yeah.
You know, it's kind of
Good
funny
attack.
because
It was
you could hear
molested.
30 Bigfoot stories about one actually running across the road, and everyone's like, I saw Bigfoot, it's real. But Bigfoot jumping out of a tree molesting somebody is completely not real.
It's just the way that the guy told the story.
Well, and I think there was one where the police actually got involved, interviewed the guy.
This the second.
Is it the
one, I
second
think,
one?
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think the police actually went on both cases.
and they found some footprints. I think as well. So that was interesting.
One of Bigfoot, 19 inches. So the guy said he had a 13-inch shoe, and the foot they measured out was only like 19 inches. I guess that's kind of big, but yeah.
Could be a juvenile.
Yeah, could be juvenile. Hence the fortification thing. Yeah.
I tell you guys,
It's coming. It's getting crazier.
Well, I'm not wanting that to happen, but
No.
if that's what you want, you can have
No, that's why I show up in an RV. You can lock that door.
Make creature comforts right there.
that. You guys were in town at the store last time when it was like checking Brendan and Leo and Renee out. So
Yeah.
We were. Some of us were over at the cemetery.
no,
on our way back
we
from the
had
cemetery.
just got done. You guys were actually headed off to the smoke shack. There's a cigarette shop that was open. I was heading back into town with my dad. You guys are heading back from the picking up some cigarettes, and
That was the first time, I think.
no. What do you mean first time?
Well,
it only
'cause
happened one time.
Well, we just came back from the cemetery. We were just,
No,
because
I
Jeremiah
remember
was
this
with
night
me.
completely. Yes, Jeremiah and you
Yeah.
were coming back from the smoke shack because we all just got back from the cemetery. When you fell out of the chair.
We just talked about that last night. Yeah.
Yeah, when you fell out of the chair. And then Paul and Michelle, were you there that night?
We were there
Later,
I believe.
because
I remember.
that's
you
when
were-
you guys got
talking
back
about it.
back into camp. That's when
Yeah.
you called me because we were heading. My dad and I were heading back into
That's right,
from
to
town,
go check
and you
on
said that the guys just had a sighting,
Yeah,
an actual full-on encounter.
yeah,
So
That's crazy.
there we go.
mock all you want until you get out there and actually do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, I know what I saw, but I still like to give everybody a bunch
No,
of
I
crap.
want you to actually see one. You haven't seen anything.
No, I haven't.
No.
No. Thank God for the internet, though, right?
He won't believe it if he does.
I love to see, I mean, the only thing I've seen is what was that dark figure that came around from the back of the house, and we all took off running that way. But I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing anything. It was something was crashing going down the embankment, and I wasn't going to chase it. So, for one, I don't want to fall, and two, I'm afraid of ticks. So, not going to do it. But what else is new besides the molesting Bigfoot?
Dodge City's a big deal right now, right?
What's happening in Dodge?
They just had a Boots and Beers auction Friday.
Yes,
Couple people bid on some passes to
yes,
join
we
the
had.
investigation.
It was kind of a freaky thing. I don't even know how it all first. Well, I guess it's just from everything we keep doing in at the depot. But Boot Hill just kind of surprised me with this whole doing a bid for at their auction to have us do an investigation there with guests and all for fundraising. It was actually a really awesome chance of a lifetime opportunity that couldn't say no to, and instead of having just one, they had two packages that they sold that night for that. So we actually get to go to Dodge City at Boot Hill Museum twice. 3 times for us, actually, because we're going to go investigate solo. So.
Yeah, and this is going to make history because from what I think I've heard, this is going to be it. Is that right? Where it's not going to be a ongoing thing. So they say.
I don't want to put that out there because I don't know. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully they continue to allow us to do this for them. The same as the Depot and Nest City and Wilson and Oberlin and all that. You know, hopefully it's something that we keep on doing over.
Start to a beautiful relationship.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's you know, I don't know. I've heard a lot of stories in Boot Hill.
What are some of them? Because I've only heard of a few.
There's the house that's in the far back, the old
White House.
The old White House.
Yes. That's at the very end, right?
Yeah. You can't go into most of it. There's only a certain section you can actually go into for safety reasons. I guess upstairs and all that, the staircase and the floor is not stable. So you can only go in so far. But apparently there's been people and guests that have gone out there many times and they have, you know, they feel weird. They hear voices, just shadows. It's just a very odd feeling inside that building.
We need an IR drone. Yeah.
Let's work on that.
We can do that.
That would be awesome.
That would be
That
awesome.
would be.
Yeah.
Fly that puppy up there.
That would be awesome. But then you have the, you got the saloon. You got all different, I've only been in Boot Hill once that I remember, so it's been a while. So this is going to be a great time to actually get reacquainted with it.
All the energized artifacts.
Yeah.
Tons of artifacts.
Yeah, Jeremiah should have fun with that one, walking around, tweaking.
Well, they've got Wyatt Earp's pistol in there.
Oh yeah.
So they've got some artifacts in there that I'm excited to be
Yeah.
about. And the fact that what Mike was saying, Mike out in Dodge City, he helped us get this all straightened out.
Hey
And
Mike, how you doing? I see you run there.
Help get us in there and.
And Darren. Both there today.
But they said that we're gonna actually have a lot of the free roam of the whole place, so it's gonna be
amazing.
It's gonna
I can't wait to do that with them. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
And they actually came into Wichita.
Mike and Aaron, not Boot Hill.
Mike and Aaron yesterday, and we got to hang out with them for a little bit, and I hope they enjoyed themselves. It was kind of a short notice deal, but it turned out to be a lot of fun.
Hair racing experience on a few times there.
Yeah.
Sorry I missed it.
Looking forward to doing some more with them.
Yeah, so you guys were where at last night?
We were at a local print shop in Wichita, and it's been a place that we've been allowed to go there for the past 6-7 years, and we're allowed to investigate there, and that place never disappoints us. But
No.
the people that are on the show that have actually been there more than once, that are watching, know that it's never a dull moment when you walk in there.
Right.
Jeremiah, I know you've been there several. You had a bolt thrown at you?
Something.
One time.
The best we could figure out, the only thing we could find was that little screw. Not like a big bolt, but it was a small machine screw that
It was spinning.
Yeah.
On the ground after
Yeah.
you had hit
Teamed
your
off of
flashlight.
that
Were you there for that?
telepost or that structural column
I was.
Very welcome,
right
Mike.
there.
I've missed
Yeah.
half of them.
And so we ended up, since Mike and Aaron happened to be in town, we took them out there just to let them have some fun. And one thing that amazes me is, I know all of us in this room, including Michelle, we all have a different opinion when it comes to mediums. And are they, what they're saying, are they real? But once again, last night, we
Remain
found
silent
out
on different
that,
areas.
we remained silent in an area where 2 mediums have told us that they won't go past. that they don't like it. We've also had other people that have gone and investigated that have
Abilities.
Yeah, they have certain abilities, and it never fails. We never tell them about that area, and when they walk back through that area, they get sick. They don't want to go past that, and so that part right there really amazes me because last night we ran into that same situation where Dan and I kept moving forward, trying to ease everybody forward, and we got probably 8-10 feet, and all of a sudden they didn't want to go any further. One of them started feeling kind of nauseous, and then the other one actually stayed at the door, didn't even want to come in anymore. So I was talking to Jeremiah about that earlier tonight before the show, and it's just I wish we could find out what is back there, because in the past 6 years that we've been doing this, there's been 4 or 5 people that will not go past that door. If they do, they get sick. And so that amazes me.
So explain sick. What do you mean by sick?
Maybe Aaron, if somebody's on there, could explain. I think they get nauseous, don't they?
Stomach pain.
Dizzy feeling.
Yeah. Both of them experienced, and well, of course I did last time, the stomach pains and the nauseousness. It was more of a stomach pain. Just.
I don't get them, so I can't explain.
Yeah, I've never had that.
But how is that when people that have the abilities to do that, they have no clue about that place, walk all over for an hour, and then we take them past that point every time it happens?
Well, to me, on that area, it's the heaviness and the energies. I mean, sickness, I never, you feel queasy, but I don't feel sick. It's heavy. It's very heavy in that corner. I don't know why. And again, people have been moved to the side there in that same area, within 10 feet of that area, where everybody gets, or at least I've been told everybody gets the feeling, and where they both experienced it last night. So I don't know.
I know one of the most chilling moments that I've ever had at the shop was it was just 5 of us, I think. And it was Leo, you, me, Paula, Michelle. We were up there, and you didn't go upstairs. You sat down. And I swear to God, you're the one that screamed out. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, this is where we...
Might differ.
Exactly, because when sitting downstairs, I heard the scream, but it was coming from the direction of the window down there.
But I was upstairs, and I could hear it too, and I could hear it from... And I was the furthest one into the room, closest to the windows too, and I heard it out this ear coming from that direction toward the staircase where you were sitting.
Yeah, see, so we all heard it from different directions.
Right, but they went outside to scream too, and it not the same. You don't even hear it that well.
The scream that I heard is, and we've all been in situations where we actually hear an EVP, and it's almost like it's in another dimension, like it's just and that's what I heard.
Hey Dennis, how you
up
doing?
There. That's what I heard. I didn't hear
Doing
something
good.
that was outside the walls, because I'm used to hearing people walking past there, or people talking or yelling, and it got me.
Well, just knowing that you were sitting downstairs alone in the dark while the rest of us were upstairs, and we hear somebody scream out, "Help me!" And it was pretty loud and blatant, and I'm running toward the stairs thinking something was going on with you, and you yell out, "That wasn't me!" And I'm like,
"That's crazy."
Oh, okay. That stopped me in my tracks. I was like, that wasn't, because it sounded just like her to me. It sounded just like you.
That's why I was surprised.
Probably was. She'll take it to the grave with her.
Yeah.
No. I swear, it was not me. I don't scream. I do not scream. So.
Well, see, like last night, we was also letting Mike and Aaron hear one of the EVPs we caught last time myself and Roth was in there. And We was in the print room where one of the employees gets touched, and we asked for a name, and it actually gives the name of the employee that gets touched, and then wrote the name that was really inappropriate. we didn't hear that before. We heard something, but we didn't.
Guys,
but last night we listened to it more and more, and it's straight up. They called him a name.
What we noticed is there any way that we've got a 2-hour show? I would like to have people that could possibly hear that. Is there any way I can email that to you real quick, and then you could play it for everybody? Because here's the deal. When we first heard that, and I don't want to say the name, I want other people to hear it, we cut it off. And for the first time last night, we actually let it play. Because when we were letting them listen to it, we were like, yeah, did you hear that? Okay, and they did. And then all of a sudden, you heard another voice. And we were like, yeah. And it was like, what? Well, we've never listened to this, and we kept playing it over. It wasn't good. And so I'm going to see.
Just email to him.
Can I text it to you?
Email it would be better.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll try to get.
I'm going to do that real quick because, yeah.
Well, we'll get it on here sometime. We got the whole night.
We got it all night.
Yeah. So it doesn't have to be real quick.
I got really defensive actually.
He got upset about it last night. Yeah, it's terrible. It was funny though.
But it makes sense because you know how we've had people that have gone in there that are mediums and they tell us that they think we're arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you've heard that twice from 2 different people. And what he called me, it would make sense. So hopefully,
Yes, it is.
Doesn't it? Doesn't it?
Oh no, Mike just said that's your new nickname, and we're gonna use it from now.
Mike, I'm coming to Dodge.
But yeah,
That's
we
funny.
need to all get back in there together sometime, and see if we can have any more fun, and see if we can, because it's been a long time since I've been in there. I mean, hell, it's been at least a year since I've been in there. So.
Tell you what, the bats are the size of.
Oh, the bats!
They're
the
huge.
bats! Oh.
They're getting bigger. It was spooky.
Taking people.
You mean that hole that we sealed up that didn't keep them outgrowth? I think
they're multiplying. There's a lot more.
Yeah.
I don't think I can send this.
Yeah, there's
Somewhere on here. This is the shirt I was wearing when I tried to help him seal up that hole, and I got that stupid industrial foam all over it.
First.
There you go.
Yeah, save it to your phone, and then you can.
He owes me a
Have
shirt.
you done that yet?
You owe him a shirt.
He owes a lot of people's shirts, but you know.
No, I don't. Save.
So what else is happening?
2%,
So it's
man. See
Oh,
This one here?
goodness. I mean, we got a lot going on.
yes, we do.
A lot to get ready for.
Now go to your downloads. Yeah, should be there. Sorry.
I'm just listening to you guys talk about
Oh,
emailing
don't.
over here because you guys are talking over us.
Don't worry about us.
You all right?
I only have like 2%, and I'm trying to get it over to Jeremiah.
I don't think he knows how to charge his phone ever. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's always dying. It's always like on the
Always
last
dying.
second. Oh no!
I need to buy a new battery.
But anyway, let's see. July, we just announced the sale for the tickets for Oberlin
Mhm.
for July 27th and 28th.
Cool.
After the show, I've got a video I want to share with you guys that was sent to us from Lisa out there. It's a video of the surveillance on the high school at the high school.
Really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
It's very interesting. I can't wait to actually show you guys. She sent me like from cell phone showing, looking at the video screen and everything. She's showing that to me, so that's how
Cool.
you view it. But it's pretty blatant what you'll see in it and everything.
Very
so
interesting.
I'm kind of excited. I can't wait to actually get out there.
It makes you wonder because we've heard a lot of stories from people
Out there, yeah.
and it seems to be all over town.
Yeah, it does.
And it really, it's interesting.
They talk about not only the several people out there have told us about the enormous amount of suicides out there. What are you guys whispering about?
Sorry.
I don't know, but it's driving me nuts.
I know it.
Cool whispering.
A couple kids on your email. No, I'm kidding.
We're trying to do a show here, okay?
What? We're gonna yell at it. We need to
If
calm
looks
down. Don't worry
could,
about us.
if looks could
Keep
kill,
going.
if looks could kill, Dan would be dead right now. The way you looked at him just a bit ago.
Matt,
The one time I didn't have him on camera. Everyone else could have been laughing too.
But anyway, for Oberlin, it's been something that's puzzling us because every time we go out there, everyone's telling us about the amount of suicides that have happened out there over the years. So we just don't know if there's a connection with that, with everything that's happened with the Indian raid.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that the museum at one time had an actual Native American body in there on display.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
don't
it's
think
not
I knew
there
about
now.
that.
Yeah,
That's
it's not
wild.
there now. But Charlene actually said they did have one of the Native Americans from back then.
Wow.
Is on display, and then it disappeared. She wasn't quite sure, so she had to research on what happened, and I guess they gave it back to the actual.
They did what was right.
Yeah, they gave
Okay,
it back
good.
to the Native Americans to do a proper burial
Cool.
for the guy.
Good deal.
But I mean, there's just so much to the place, and I
Right.
can't wait for you guys to see it. For
I want to see it. Yeah.
to the 13 buildings, and I mean even the main building itself, what we started off with,
Yeah.
was highly interesting. With I mean, let's just face it. I mean, everyone's going to know about when we do the event. You know, we're doing back-to-back events, but there was 2 suicides that happened inside the main museum, the actual building, and not that long ago. And we can go into the rooms too because they're part of the areas that we can go into. So
Right.
it's just very odd to have all that, and the fact that it seems like all of our lights and our cameras and all that seems to apparently annoy the spirits that are there, at least possibly one of them, and he doesn't like to come out and play, or at least I say that's wrong. I shouldn't say play. He doesn't make himself known very much because he's just very annoyed by all of our lights and everything, and
Yeah, I noticed the first time
Yeah.
we were there, it was the room, the actual room where he committed, was a lot of noises and unexplained
oh yeah,
noises
yeah, you'll hear it.
there. And then when we had the group, he was very quiet. It's like, I'm out of here.
Right.
I'm not gonna, and I don't
But-
think he likes the crowds.
But
Yeah.
one of the freakiest, not freakiest, but one of the best moments I think we've had out there, besides the depot and everything out there with the little boy and stuff like that. But we were all in. Do you remember this with the in the main over in the back end of the main building of the museum? We had the grid lights on. We were getting ready to, we were kind of winding down. We were getting things about ready to turn off, but we hadn't really said anything, like, hey, we're done, And Michelle just makes the sound, makes the comment, all right, I think that's it. Let's call it a night. And everyone was just kind of like, they just kind of nodded at each other. But as soon as she said that, the grid light actually clicked off. It was just
I
like,
do remember
yep,
Turn it off.
you're done. Get out of here.
Yeah, and I even looked to make sure I wasn't standing on the cord or anything.
Yo,
because
but I heard the click. I heard like you had to go out over there and actually click it off.
Yeah.
It doesn't turn off
That's right. I
or
remember
anything.
that. It just
You
shut
have to
down.
actually go and switch it off.
That's
I
And
do remember that. 'Cause
Yeah.
we were like, okay.
yeah,
we're gone. Bye-bye.
and that wasn't even at one of the events. That was just us doing an investigation as a group. And
Elvis
just
is left of building.
and they're just like, okay, you're gone. Click.
You want to go?
Get
Go.
out. And Charlene even says, once we're gone, she seems to get, because she always goes in there and she communicates with her dowsing rods, everything, and she's done that several times, and she's just makes the comments back there, hey, did you enjoy the guys, with all of them here, it was like a strong no. Wow. You know, are you happy that they're gone? Yep.
You know, I don't think he liked me, did he? I think
Well,
Charlene kept
let's
going.
talk about that
Something
question.
about
Let's
he
talk
didn't
about that
like
question.
growth.
Let's talk about
Yeah,
that
let's
question.
do.
What do you do that makes spirits get pissed off at you?
I think, I think it must just be, they know they can't manipulate me, they can't, control me. I think they know I'm going to call their bullshit.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
Let's go with that.
That's a good answer.
Yeah,
That's a good
I mean,
answer.
because everybody else they torment, they make them sick, they make them nauseous. I mean, I look at my teams, we walk into rooms, they're like, oh, I'm getting sick. Ooh. Me, it just bounces off.
And until you're in Lawrence.
Right. Right, yeah. Until I get kicked. But,
Kicked in your sleep and you hit me with your foot.
It's like a hit and run. It doesn't count. I'm asleep.
It's like he kicked you kicked me, and then the light kept flashing at us. All because you were going to sleep and you were just so tired you kept calling him out. Thanks for not frickin' showing up tonight,
Yeah.
Colonel Eldridge, just...
No.
Oh, yeah.
That's terrible.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he was, like, quite belligerent when he was going to sleep.
Well, I mean, I'd heard so much about him.
Yeah.
And
Well-
you're not going to show yourself and you're a colonel? Come on.
And
Colonel what?
And we were in supposedly
Kentucky Fried?
in the most haunted room of the hotel.
Yeah.
And nothing.
Nothing. I
Nothing.
mean, it was...
Until we all were asleep. Until we were all, like, going to sleep. Leo's got his headphones on, so he can't hear anything.
Kick a man when he's down.
Yeah, you're like calling him out to all get into your, sleeping bag and covering up. You're like talking crap to him the whole entire time. And then finally he's like,
Yeah, that did.
nails you.
I would have to admit that did startle me because I felt it, man.
oh yeah, you're like waking me up.
My leg ended up over on Jason when it hit me. So it was, and I'm just sitting there waking up going, hello?
Yeah.
And then the lights started flashing in our eyes.
The lights come on, or that was pretty intense.
That was interesting.
We are talking about the
Eldridge.
The Eldridge. Yeah, Jeremiah, I'm sorry, I can't get it to.
Okay.
We'll try it on break or something maybe.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure you knew.
Because I really want people to hear that. So one thing that interested me there, I think, were you there when the door shut on Max?
In Oberlin.
In Oberlin?
Oberlin. I believe it was, because I was there every time he was. So.
I've never seen a big man my size, like Max was my size, and
Yeah,
boy,
because
that
it
guy.
was 3 of you.
Okay, yeah, in
Me and
Lawrence's
Leo.
room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, and there's some, we went back and tried to debunk that situation because, that's what we do. But, anytime you're in a situation and something like this happens, it does startle you. But it was really funny because the night it was getting late. And we went down the hallway because we had started seeing some shadows. And we had heard that, this particular person goes in and out of this hallway and stays in that room. Possibly he was even, it's where I don't know if anybody's listening there, but I think that's where he committed suicide.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So Max decides to walk into the room and he kind of turns around, has his back facing the wall, and him facing us, and he's like, I'll just stand here and see what happens. And I think he kind of put himself into a situation where he kind of put his head down, closed his eyes, and you and I were sitting out in the hallway, and all of a sudden, I mean, guys, the door started shutting, and you couldn't hear it, and it's just moving really slow. Well, it gets to about Max's left arm, and then it's about even with his shoulder here and his face, and I go, Max, you might want to look at that door. And he's just kind of like this, and he looks up and he's like, whoa! And man, he moved. He was like a silent ninja, and he just squeezed right out of that. And as soon as his left shoulder went out of the room, it shut.
Okay, but
Right.
that door.
That door
There
was
a draft.
Well, I
Sometimes-
don't know if it was a draft. I think it was tilted. I think because we kept
But there was
messing
movement
with
because
it.
the curtain was moving.
Is that what it was doing?
Yeah,
So
curtain.
we think we debunked it, but to
But-
be in that situation,
It
But
was.
let me just
Go right ahead.
Throw this out at you too, because when Leo and I came back later, and we were hearing about all that, so we were going in, and yeah, I walked in, turned around, and eventually that door just started to close. I'm thinking, oh, well, look at that, maybe it's from the movement of somebody walking in or out or something like that. Kept doing it. But we also went back, and I know you guys even mentioned too that when we were setting up, the door shut on its own. And It was closed. So, after Leo and Renee and I got back from that house, we went in there with the three of you, and Renee and I went back there and we tried to get some stuff going with the door and see if we can figure it out. It wasn't until after, and I thought, yeah, it's just us moving about to past it that it's eventually just from the air moving. Yeah, it does that. We shut off for the night. We turn on all the lights. We're rolling up. I thought I'm gonna go try the door one more time. I kept going back in. Damn door would not shut again while the lights were on.
I didn't know you guys had gone
Yeah.
back in.
Would not do it again. I ran in. I just crept in. And Leo and I were both like, now the door's not doing it.
Interesting. Yeah, because I think when Michelle and I were in there, we'd walk in, and if you would turn, then it would start to. It would start to move.
I went in
on us.
every possible way I could to rush past or anything, and nothing.
Well, I will say that in that room too, even though I think it's the door shutting was kind of debunked with the.
Yeah.
But there were some noises that I caught on tape and on EVP. And I went in to check it out, and it was like they had this thing hanging on a string there by the door. And if you lifted it up and let it drop, that was a noise I was hearing. But there is no way that there was any kind of wind that was picking that, because it was
Moving that
fairly
up.
There
big.
wasn't a draft in that room.
And it wouldn't have been, the only way it was if that you.
There wasn't, or it was a draft.
There wasn't.
Because you said that the curtain wasn't.
Well,
There was a light draft.
because
Yes.
there's the hallway, and then there's that room where but there's nothing in there, so I don't know where a draft would have come from
Right.
in there.
All
but
I know
it-
is
yeah.
when we turned the lights on, we couldn't get the door to shut again, and it didn't do it the entire time we were packing up and leaving. We went back in to do one last check. Door was open. We checked it again to see if we could make it go, and it wouldn't.
Interesting.
But that's my point, that some of the times the air was moving and it shut the door. But there are other things that happened in that room that I tried to debunk.
Yeah, because wasn't there something hanging with a key?
Yeah,
what
that's-
she
that's
said
And
what I'm
that's
about
when you were, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and if you just kind of hit it back and forth, it didn't make the noise that it
You
did
had-
if you picked it up
you had to drop it.
and dropped it. So,
Because we were hearing that all night, plus it's on recording.
yeah,
I'm hearing that slapping metal to metal sound.
and that's what it was, but there's no way.
I don't know. Maybe Lawrence didn't like us being in there and he kept shutting the door on us, but the moment we, kind of like the grid lights, the moment we are packing up and ready to go, it just
He's done.
Yeah.
stops and it's done,
Right.
I don't know. Because, yeah, it makes plausible, absolute sense that it's just the wind and our movement going past the door to actually make it shut. But the fact that as soon as we got the lights back on and we're packing
Yeah.
up, it didn't do it again.
Well, and what was interesting too with Charlene is that the way that Lawrence would follow her all over the place.
Mhm.
She wouldn't leave. He will not leave her hit when we're there.
Wow.
And this
Yeah,
all started
yeah.
out.
He said
Somebody in
yeah.
my group had to go to the restroom,
Uh-huh.
and I said, "Yeah, I'll take you. Just you guys hang out here for a bit. We'll be right back." And so, her and I went back into the museum, and this gal happened to bring her own K2 meter with her, and she stopped, and Charlene asked her something, and as she's holding it down to her side, it started screaming, just started going red, and the lady looked at her, and she goes, "Why is this going off?" "Oh, he's with me. It's okay. He's scared. You guys are making him nervous." And she's like, "Who's with you?" And I mean, within like 5 minutes, we started having some fun with Charlene, and immediately I asked her, do you have a cell phone? You know, do you have one on your hip? Because they can, you know, manipulate the K2s. And so she said no. She said, actually, it's sitting on the counter over here, and she showed me. So what I did is I actually had Charlene back up and go into another room in the main dining hall.
Mm-hmm.
So she did. And then the gal that was with me walked back over, stood next to her, screamed at her. And she's like, okay, so go do it again. So she moves like another 30 feet. Okay. And it screamed again. And she goes, I'm telling you, he's right here. He's not going to leave my side. And I said, okay, let's do this. I had the girl go move over by the hallway where you leave to go towards the bathroom where all the Indian stuff's at. So it was completely on the other end. I said, you go over there, hold your K2. And she did. I asked her, I said, hold it up for the camera, you know, because we had cameras going and audio, and she's holding it up, nothing. And I said, now, Charlene, you go walk over there and stand next to her. So Charlene went all the way across the room, stood next to her, and man, that thing went off.
Again?
Yeah.
Wow.
And after that, that's when she went into her office and got the dowsing rods. And within, I think, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I think everybody ended up in that room, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was communicating with her so much that, and everybody started coming in for breaks, and before you know it, the whole place, there was probably 30 people in there.
Wow.
And they actually got kind of tearjerker with that one lady. One of the ladies happened to know, I think had a relative that went to school with him.
I was with another group out.
Is that right?
So I don't remember even being a part of that.
They had I guess Charlene, another group came in. Were you with me on that? I think the gal
Well,
went
just
to...
part of the time, but not the whole time.
There was a gal that that had a family there that had gone to school with him. And there's only one person in there besides that would know the name of that person, and he said it. And somehow she was asking questions, and it's, you know, rambling off different names, and as soon as that name came across, it was like this, like no, you know, and then, you know, yeah, and then bam, it was like, yep, and this lady just got teary-eyed.
Wow.
Because she felt like she was talking to somebody that knew a relative there. It was an amazing place. Everybody loved the event. It was awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait to get
2
you out
months
there
out
to see
already.
that. Yeah, yeah, a little bit of a wait, but
Yeah.
hopefully
It'll
it'll
be
come.
worth it.
Yeah, it'll be here pretty soon, and I'm hoping that a lot of people. I'm hoping it sells out
It's a long drive.
for the
I figured,
museum.
well, I got several people out there. My niece lives out there, and she's got several girlfriends that want to be there. So we'll see what happens.
We got 2 back-to-back. That's
Yeah.
gonna be a...
Yeah,
gonna be a long
I'm
weekend.
actually looking forward. Well, you know, the first night driving out there and getting set up and everything, that's going to be a long day. But we finally, you know, get to sleep in, enjoy kind of going around town the next day, because there's still a lot of things that we haven't seen. Because there, you know, we toured the park that time.
Yeah,
we drove out to the park. The park, really huge park.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many acres it is, but it's there's RV, you know, areas out there. It's fishing, hiking, lots of trails out there. But there's been a lot of people who've come out to talk to us who said that they've seen some weird things out there. They've heard some strange sounds and screams and growls and just crazy stuff out there in the park. And they keep saying, you need to go check out the park at night. Like, well, we're always at the museum when we're here, you know?
Right.
So it's hard, you know? But,
Right.
it'd be nice to go check things out a little bit more. I don't know. There's so much that I want to do that it's hard to do in one day.
Right.
Yeah.
But you know, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a lot of fun to get back out there. Are you going to be going?
I don't know yet. I won't,
Yeah.
if I'm going to be able to.
Yeah.
It was late July.
July 27th, 28th. Yeah.
That may be the weekend that I have to go to Texas. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Lisa's telling us we need to check out the school.
Yes, we do, because I saw your video today. Yes, I do. Yeah, I saw that video. That's the one I'm going to show you guys after the podcast.
Yeah.
I can't.
Are you talking about in Overland
Yeah.
school?
She sent me a video today of the from surveillance video from the high school. She sent me an email today.
Are we talking about the history back when they
No.
used the school? Okay.
No.
Okay.
She sent me a video.
No, I know. I'm talking about, because there's, from what I heard,
No,
they
I
used
know.
that school back there when they were, is that correct?
Assembling the bodies
Yeah,
after
and
the
so
rape.
that's
Well,
what
I don't
was
think that's
asking. Okay.
the same. No, I mean they've upgraded since then.
Well, it could be on the same.
Could
Same
be.
land.
Foundation.
Yeah, I mean it's just there's so much I want to do to learn about this town. We've only done so much, but I can't wait for you to see this video too. It's quite interesting.
Yeah.
I can't really explain. I mean, I could tell you what I think it looks like, but at the tail end, it looks like something different.
Hmm.
So it's yeah, all caught on surveillance there in the high school going up the stairs. So it's good. I'll show it to you.
Cool.
But man, I don't know. I'm just excited. There's so much to do.
Yeah, I'm ready for Overland.
I'm not. I don't like the drive. I don't mind if somebody else is driving.
That's a long, what is it, 4.5 hours?
About 5 hours. Yeah. Hey, but that's what we do.
I think I'm going to be on vacay that week, so I can be out there early.
I might go with you. Actually, I think I'm going to ride with Jason and sing country music to him.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
Sam Hunt.
Oh,
Hey, anybody out there want to send anything to him? Make sure it's Sam Hunt.
No, thank you. No, thank you. Don't really like my pop rap country, and no, thank you.
Pop rap country.
No, thank you. But anyway, it's the thing that like just gets me is just the history of the town out there in Oberlin, from the Indian raid to just the suicides that happened out there. That we've heard several stories of, like from gunshots to hangings to. I mean, it's probably out there in the news, and I don't know how many people are like actually listening, but we even heard a story of somebody who caught themselves on fire. I mean, just there's circumstances out there, and I remember when that time when the 5 of us were out there, and Renee and I and Leo were at that house at a private residence in there, just checking it out for the evening, and we heard a gunshot while we were in there, and it sounded like a shotgun, echoing off in the distance, which it could very well be, but it was about 2 in the morning when it happened, which is just odd. But it was happening right at the moment when something was happening with Leo in the house, which was very strange. We're videotaping the entire thing, and we hear the gunshot like off in the distance.
Wow.
It's just echoing. It was very strange.
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think you guys radioed us
Yeah,
Ask
yeah,
where you can
and
hear
asked
it.
us if we even heard it.
yeah. And you guys didn't.
Mhm.
No. And the thing is, from the house to where the museum is, it's not that far. It's just a few blocks.
Well, and I think
away.
you guys were even standing outside.
Yeah, I think Max and I actually were.
You guys were outside, I was inside.
Yeah. So it's just strange things that having 2 nights in a row there is gonna give us a little bit more research on the place. So I'm looking forward to it.
So
Yeah.
what?
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a few people out there that would like us to get over to their residence as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
we need to do.
Yeah, it's been a year and a half since we've interviewed a bunch of people. Just a matter of, I know I've had my family life, it's gotten in the way with hardships and stuff like that, with health and all that. So, we haven't been in, and same goes for everybody. We all have our stuff, so it's hard to get out there to everybody and travel around to everything. But
And we've just been busy. We've been doing a lot
Yeah.
of investigations and stuff, so.
yeah, I try to keep you guys busy with events and stuff like that. But I love that. I mean, it seems like every event that we do with the public, I feel like there's something new that happens each and every time. Like Oberlin, having everything happening the way it did that night. I mean, from flashlights flying off the table to hearing a chair move when we were looking at it, asking, where the little boy is, seeing the chair move.
In the depot.
Yeah, in the depot.
Oh, and that's a big, heavy metal chair. That's not no normal chair, is it? I think that's
I
one
can't
of those
remember.
old metal desks that have the metal chair and
Yeah.
I remember that.
But it was very distinct when you heard it move and shuffle to the side. And the whole time the dowsing rods were turned to point, and the meter goes off and lights up, the K2 over there lights up, and then the chair moves all at the same time. And you and I and Aaron were in there, or
Yeah.
actually.
It was Aaron and I were in there with you the first night that we
We ever
started
did
having
it.
the flashlight.
Yeah, it was
deal.
freezing cold in there, and then
Yeah.
Paula and I were in there by ourselves, and I remember the two of us actually heard a faint little voice inside the depot. Couldn't make out anything that it said, but we actually could hear it. I don't think it picked up on the audio on the video camera. Of course, I didn't care because it was like 20 degrees outside, and I was standing there trying not to
That
shake.
was so cold.
Not to shake, and my arm was killing me the whole time.
Yeah.
I think I remember seeing myself. I went back and I watched the video of me coming back in from outside, and I'm the camera that's going down the hallway past Lawrence's room and everything. You just see me walk past. I'm like as stiff as can be because I'm like frozen. I can't move. I just wanted to go like lay down. It was so cold out there.
It was really cold.
But this will be nice, heated.
Heated.
Yeah,
July.
it's gonna be very hot out there. But and the sad thing is, there's not gonna be air conditioning in a lot of these buildings or anything like that.
From one extreme to another.
Yeah, so instead of freezing weather, we're gonna be out there with the heat and the wasps and the bugs and all that. So it's fun.
Well, I think the last time we went out, it wasn't too bad.
No, last time was really good.
It was perfect.
Really good.
It was hoodie weather.
There's the dance
weather.
hall. They had a dance hall that's there, and they said Lawrence Welk even performed there.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So remember them saying. You know who Lawrence Welk is, right?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You do.
I am absolutely.
Okay.
I just think
Not
Rose
that he
wasn't
was
terribly
popular.
impressed by the whole thing, but
He did a really very good.
No, I'm just playing.
I just like it when famous people actually
Oh,
have
yeah,
performed at
that's-
certain locations.
Yeah.
But so it's gonna be great.
yeah.
Hope you can go, but if not,
I would love. I want to get out there bad.
Have you not? You haven't been out there
I
yet.
haven't been
haven't.
out there yet at all. So
I'll tell you I know it's going to be tough, to break that long. But if there's any way, you can get out there. That place is
Yeah.
pretty.
I love the
Pretty
people out
intense.
there. I love all the people out in Overland and to Wilson to
Well,
Ness City. Everybody.
And
It's
like
just-
you were saying, just walking around the museum is interesting.
yeah,
Because
I
it's
find-
all written up, all the history, the pictures of people, a lot of people that own this stuff is right there. It's just interesting just to walk around and look at this stuff.
Yeah, I find myself actually doing that
Looking while
when
you're
I should be
investigating,
investigating. I'm too busy like
I'm always investigating.
Yeah, I can see that.
but anyway,
Yeah.
it's I do find myself doing that and messing up quite a
Well,
bit when it comes to
it's hard not to.
all the
Some
historical
of that
stuff.
stuff is just cool. I mean,
Well, I found what's interesting there, and I think we are getting close to break, right?
yeah.
I think what's really interesting is the families, to me, is the families that have given up their significant others' uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them have either, passed away
Right.
in those uniforms. Some of them, passed away later and there's a story behind them. And some of the stories are how they passed away in war. And so it's that
there's
to me,
pictures.
and there's pictures of them, and then their uniform is right there. And so that's, that to me is pretty important.
Yeah.
That they would allow that uniform to just
Yeah,
be handed
yeah,
over to the
absolutely.
museum.
Absolutely.
Well, it's a better place to put it instead of keeping it in the closet. Why
Yeah.
not display it?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we'll go down someday,
Be
our
turning over our
shirts will be
t-shirts.
over and they'll have that famous picture of me going,
We should have your shirt up with that photograph. It's,
Yeah. he was a great man.
Yeah, just roast.
The bear that was poked one too many times.
That should be like a
Oh
jersey.
my God,
We should make
okay.
a jersey of that. That could be taken in so many different
They
ways.
could.
Right.
They could. We could have
Yeah.
gone a lot of places
Yeah,
with
but
that.
we didn't.
Oh, no.
Not out loud anyway.
So I think when we come back, we've got some really interesting stuff. So hopefully everybody stay tuned with us because I think we got a couple videos and
We do?
some EVPs. Do we have an EVP? I know we've got an EVP.
Yep, we got an
coming.
EVP.
Yep. So.
I don't know anything about any videos
And
yet.
guys,
but
definitely that's something to please come back because this is something that we just caught last night that we didn't know had always been on there. We just never.
We
played
actually
on
caught
there.
it about a month ago, but we
Yeah.
picked it up last night.
We
and
picked it
actually
up
heard
last
Yeah.
night. So.
they listened to it long enough to actually figure out what it said last night.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. On that note,
Did
we're
you
gonna
see
take
that?
a. Woo.
The book just almost flew off the table.
Ah.
See, I'm always on it,
Very
guys.
yes, yes.
Always on it.
Slimer
On
food.
that
all
note,
talking
before it
about
gets any
history
deeper in here, we're gonna take a little break and go hose roast down or something. But you guys hang around while we're at break. Hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons. Doesn't matter what platform you're watching on. There's a share button at the bottom. There's like buttons all over the place. So and on YouTube, there's a subscribe button, and you can get notifications anytime we add content to YouTube, and anytime we're about to go live. So, which sometimes, every once in a while, doesn't happen real often, but every once in a while we go live on YouTube without going on Facebook. So, make sure you get all the notifications. And so anyway, yep, hit like, share, subscribe, and we will be back in just a little bit.
back.
I hope everyone got the break you needed, and I hope you took the opportunity to hit the like and share buttons. If you didn't, do it now, because help us get the word out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, big things are coming.
What's
So-
that?
Good.
You good?
I'm good.
Okay. You're good. Doesn't hear it. All right. Go ahead.
So, while we were at the while we were on break, Rose, actually just a little bit before the break, Rose did manage to get an EVP sent to me, the one that he was talking about that they caught down at that print shop. Excuse me. And so we're gonna take a minute and listen to that. And Rose said it's kind of interesting. He's learned a few things about what some of the spirits might think of him.
Yeah, and for everybody that's out there that has not heard the story on this, there's one of the employees there. It's a print shop, and so in this particular area, one of the employees there, when everything comes off the cutter and they cut, like, I don't know, box toppers or whatever, they box them up. And one of the ladies that works there, she will kind of has her head bent over the table, and they're taking the product and putting it in the boxes, closing the lids and taping them. As they are bending their head over, their hair falls in front of their face, and this particular spirit likes to go over there and help her take her hair out of her face and move it back behind her ear. And it creeps her out every time he does it.
I can't imagine why.
There's been a few times, I think if I have the story correct, there's been a few times it startled her to where she left a couple times. Because can you imagine standing there if you're a woman with your hair hanging in front of your face and then somebody just puts it behind your ear, And so anyways, I brought Dan out there, kind of told him that story, and while we were there, I asked a question, and you'll hear me on here. I ask, can you tell me who the name is of the girl that you like to, help her out and put her hair out of her face and put it behind her ear? We actually get a name.
Yeah.
Well, we've had that for quite some time, but we've never really listened to the full. We never caught it for some reason about 5 seconds afterwards. And so last night when we were at the shop investigating, we played that for somebody. And of course there was more people in the room, and we didn't have headphones, so we just played it on my phone. And as everybody was listening, they heard the name. And then as I walked away, and they're like, wow, that's a good EV. They heard something else. And I said, what do you mean there's something else? I've never heard anything else. And so we started playing it back again, and you'll get to hear it. And it really bothered me. So hopefully everybody can figure it out.
Oh, they'll figure it out.
Yeah. If you have headphones or earbuds handy, it would probably be easier to hear this if you can get those on and plugged in right quick. I'm sure we'll play this a few times, so if you can't get it the first time, then go ahead and get them ready and catch it the next time. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead. How long is this thing? Is it 15, 16 seconds? I'm probably gonna let it loop through a couple of times the first time we play it.
So you'll hear the name of the woman, and then about what, 4 or 5 seconds after, there's another word.
Cool. Okay.
A little disturbing. Can't hear it at all.
What do you guys think?
I didn't hear anything.
Can't hear it.
Can't hear
You can hear it right on the phone.
Maybe you can put it up to the microphone.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do this right now.
What's her name? You're always moving her hair out of her face. Can you tell me what her name is?
Again?
Yeah, go for it.
Did you guys hear that?
No.
What's her name? You're always moving her hair out of her face. Can you tell me what her name is?
Yeah, I heard it.
I heard it, but
I just hear all the background noise that you can't distinguish.
did it call you what I think it called you?
It
Yeah.
sure did. I can't. I really wish people could hear that.
What's her name? You're always moving her hair out of her face.
Mike and Aaron heard it.
Yeah.
Can you hear that, Michelle?
Just,
You're always moving her hair out of her face. Can you tell me what her name is?
Now you said it says a name. What's the name that you hear?
Cynthia.
Cynthia.
no, I don't get that, but I mean,
Yeah, you
I
hear-
know.
But I hear
Yeah,
what it calls
hear,
you.
You hear
Yes.
Cynthia clear as day. Like if you can play it on a speaker,
Yeah.
you'll hear it. The family that owns that,
I didn't hear that either.
the family that owns that place just about flipped because they couldn't. That's the actual girl that works in
Yeah.
there.
PUSS.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what it calls him.
and the background
Yeah,
is too.
yeah.
Yeah,
It-
Listen to that one more time.
What's her name? You're always
Point it out to her.
face. Can you tell me what her name is?
Right there. Did you hear it?
I can't make out from the
Yeah,
background
the
noise.
echoing of the background kind of noise is distorts it a lot.
Yeah,
but-
the computer's in there
yeah.
with that.
But-
Yeah.
But yeah, that was plain as day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
They think highly of him, apparently.
Yeah.
Wow. So how'd that make you feel?
I went back out there and
He turned his head
yeah,
in
I was-
reverse,
yeah,
went after the guy.
went and had
Wow.
words.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I wish people could have actually heard that.
Well, Mike and Aaron both said they heard it through your phone.
Oh,
That's
did
good.
they
That's
on
good.
there? Okay,
Yeah.
That's good.
okay. Did
Well,
you hear
I'm
it,
ready to go
Jeremiah?
back. I know.
Yeah, I did.
Let's get.
I
let's
couldn't
get back
make
to
it out when we had it going over the computer for some reason,
Yeah.
but on the phone I could hear it.
You're up for it.
I'm not, anytime,
Okay.
anytime.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. It's been about a year since I've been in there, so I haven't been in there since we last did a podcast.
And for the people that may have a hard time hearing that, when we actually played that on a Bluetooth speaker for the people that own it, which cleared it up big time, and they just were amazed. Matter of fact, it took them, I guess, about 3 weeks before they even wanted to let her hear it
Uh-huh.
because they thought it would scare her. So the people in the office kept a hold of that for a while, and then they finally ended up actually letting her listen to it,
Wow.
and it spooked her pretty good.
Well, now you need to let them hear the.
Yeah, now I need to let them hear the other. Yeah,
Yeah.
God.
And I'm only about 10% through the audio of that night, so once I get through the rest of it, we might have. I do have a voice that we caught upstairs, and, I got a name out of it, but others kind of hear it. It's either the guy saying I won or Owen. I'm hoping it's Owen, but I don't know. And there is no background noise in that. It's just straight off the watch. But
Very interesting place. I
It
gotta
is.
tell you, it really is.
You know, and what's interesting now, Jason, is that, you know, we've been doing this place for a long time, and the
What's
EVPs
her
are always
name? You're
hard
always moving her
to
hair
get
out
out of
of
there.
her face. Can you tell me what
You
her name
know,
is?
that's one thing that drove us nuts, is it's like, man, why can't, you know, and here, the past several months, we're starting to get a lot more
Yeah, 'cause
EVPs out of there.
We wouldn't hear crap from there. I remember you and I hooked into the audio one night, and we were going, you know, we had our headphones on, going live with an audio recorder, but listening and it picked up, you know, really well through the headphones. And as soon as we plugged in, we heard a male scream.
Yeah.
I mean, just loud as could be male scream coming from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Leo saying something about, because he was upstairs, up in the second floor area, and we talked about it later, and he was like, when did that happen? Because I could have sworn I heard something like that, and yeah.
I've also heard a female that she go through the first fire door in that, to where the skate rink was.
Yeah.
There was a female in there that I have heard.
I've only heard that upstairs, the female. I've only heard the female upstairs.
Well, we've heard
when
the
we've done
female in the
yeah.
front, by that pole, in the front entrance.
So you all say. I still didn't hear it. I was standing right there and I didn't hear it.
I do remember that.
Yeah, we were all sitting there getting ready to go. We're all talking, and all of a sudden the female just kind of said a whole sentence in front of you guys.
Now, when we heard, Jeremiah, you were there
Yeah,
one night, and we heard it actually said Rove. Was that in a female voice? Do you remember?
Yeah, I believe it was. Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, that was real interesting.
Well, that one night we were in there, and it sounded like there was a bunch of kids behind us having a conversation. I mean, there's voices, a lot of them behind us, and there wasn't anybody there.
I wonder if there's not a portal somewhere in that place, because there's just so much.
Well, again, the darkest place and the weirdest feeling is in that middle area that everybody has, and that's where I got the full female voice, the full sentence, but you can't make anything out, and it's just mumbled.
That's where Paula gets most of her
Yeah.
experiences. Is,
Over by
Yeah.
the forklift.
Oh, her and Leo are like so in tune with that area. They
Yeah.
can stand there forever and see shadows. I mean, even one night they had like a shadow actually start to run up on them, like
Right.
charged right at them
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. And of course, once again, I walked up right after
Right
it
after the
happened.
fact. Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on? You guys seem like you're startled a bit, you know? And Leo's all pumped up, and you know, the look in Paula's face was like, you know, there's something down there, you know, that keeps pacing back and forth and trying to come up toward him.
See, I think Aaron
We
said
both last night in that corner.
saw something like some dark, like a
There's
shadow
a dark
that was
mass over
back
in that
there.
corner. Yeah.
And of
Yeah.
course, I didn't catch it.
No, you
Yeah.
and Mike are on the other side of the
Yeah.
plastic.
I have the bats that come and try to greet my head.
Bats were actually being nice last night. They weren't really
Well, except
buzzing
for
over our heads.
they
so.
were flapping around my IR light. They didn't like it very well. They're huge.
Yeah, they've grown.
They got big.
But on another note,
Yes. Sorry.
on another note, we'll just want to make a little shout out to a gentleman that was pretty close to us. Just want to talk about him just for a few minutes. Just yesterday was a 2-year anniversary. Did you know that? Larry, who passed away, Larry Maxwell, who was a member of our team, had been from I think what was it, 2011?
Yeah, that sounds
2012,
about
something
right.
about that time.
Sounds about right.
It's like right after we went to Tahlequah for the very first time back in the beginning. Larry and his wife Cheryl, they came onto the team. Known Larry and Cheryl since I was 19.
Oh wow.
So Larry was a paramedic.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Cheryl was my first supervisor. and I've got some pictures he's going to throw up there of Larry.
I'm rolling through them right
now. When we first met him, I never thought by any chance, he'd even be interested in anything like this. He was like this big burly of a guy, paramedic. He was he was an instructor, very well known and well liked and loved throughout the Central County EMS. When I first met him, I was afraid to talk to him. Cheryl was my supervisor at the hospital. I just, watching them, that's when they first met and they were getting together. They got married. They both, time moves on. But when I joined the team, Larry and Cheryl kept seeing our posts on Facebook about it, about what we were doing, and they jumped on and Larry just was so adamant about, like, I want to do this. He was so pumped all the time, wanting to go and tour all this, and knowing that he had cancer, knowing that he was going through some health issues, but he was going into remission and everything. But man, watching him go into it, it was like a little child going into a candy store. He was all over the place there at the Forum. I remember just hearing him off in the distance, just talking and trying to get a reaction. And he's, and just learning from him just a little bit of not asking the same questions over and over again of the same things that people always ask. Is there a sign? Can you give me this? Can you do this? Can you tap on this? No, he's asking personal things like, like, are there stars where you're at? Can you see stars? Can you see this? And can you tell me who is standing next to you? Or, just really trying to get to the heart of everything about that.
Yeah.
With the paranormal. And what was great was when he went to Wilson one time just to kind of check some things out. And we kept losing him in the hotel. He was just like all over the place with that. But when something that I'd always been fascinated by what he always talked to me about was he was like, Jason, I've been on scenes of accidents, hundreds of times. I've seen the carnage from all these accidents on the side of the road and stuff like that. He's like, I don't know if it's morbid of me to want to do this, but the idea of going back to those sites to see if there's still a spirit still left to that crash site and testing that out and stuff. So, that was something him and I were always talking about to try and do. Never got a chance to do it, but I always thought it'd be something.
No, that would be something cool to do. We could do some stuff like that in his honor.
Yeah.
Put it on the WTF files and.
Yeah. I just think it'd be fascinating. Some people may not like it, but there are, you hear the stories of, the woman in white roaming the highway. You always hear stories of that.
Right.
Well, that's the same thing with this. Is there the possibility of capturing or something, along the country road or something like that?
Right.
I always just thought that was fascinating in a different way. But you'd have to know exactly where the sites were at. But
you have to get a police scanner or something.
Well, or just find those, crosses on the side of the road or something like that. But a lot of people do those. Those are everywhere, But I don't know. It'd be interesting somewhere out in the country somewhere, just testing that out to see how many in isolated areas where there's, I don't know of any crashes off the top of my head or anything like that where there's somebody lost. And I know that sounds morbid. At the same time, it is what we do.
Right.
It is what we do, regardless of the location or site or whatever. It is what we do.
You're absolutely right. The only difference is, most of the time we're dealing with spirits of the somewhat distant past, and when we're talking about this, we're, it's not quite so distant, And I think that's probably what bothers a lot of people about it, is that it's,
They
Yeah.
think we're
You know.
disrespecting their loved ones,
right,
and we're not.
and
I
yeah,
have
that's
all
not the
respect.
point behind it at all. We're just trying to
Yeah.
learn, you know.
Right.
So I know that's why Leo in particular won't pick up more on one of the cases that he is so interested in. You know what I'm talking about, the one up over in northwest
here.
Wichita.
Yes.
You know,
Just because you think it is going to be disrespectful if we go marching out there to
Right.
try and do something.
right?
Because it was a tragedy. It was
Right.
a tragedy. But at the
So-
same time, there's been people who have gone out there and have recorded some very eerie things.
Right.
Um,
Of course,
So-
Leo has a little bit more personal involvement in that one
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
yeah. But, I mean, where do you guys think on where we stand on that? Are we pushing the envelope on disrespecting, or is it more of a,
Well, I mean,
is it research? I mean, we get invited to people's places.
Mhm.
We get, asked to come to, but then there's certain areas that people go to that, we're just testing it out on our own. We're not, I don't know.
I don't think it's disrespectful personally, but I could see where someone would come to that conclusion. It's just so
Gotcha.
but yeah, I don't think it's personally disrespectful, but I could see where someone would jump to that
Yeah.
conclusion.
Is
So
Mike on the with
Yeah.
us, Michael?
yeah, he is.
yeah.
Michael, what are your thoughts on that?
He
If you
says
don't
it'd
mind
be
me
a very
asking.
sensitive issue, is what he states.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can see that.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to say on
Well,
that,
we go to cemeteries, but most of the time, if we go to cemeteries, we're getting permission to do so.
Yeah.
Because I know Brendan, as y'all know him, is Bigfoot Brendan, but one of his first cases was, I wouldn't say first case, but one of his big cases that he had was in a cemetery just south of Wichita, where he recorded a female scream out there in the middle of nowhere. And this cemetery is in the middle of nowhere, out in the country. You have to get off the road, go down a dirt road, and go off into this huge cemetery off in the fields. But he got permission to do so, and he's like, you can't do it unless you get permission, unless you're sneaking out there late at night to do so.
Right.
Which, that's what a lot of people do. It's like going out and, what do you think?
I can see where some people would not want us to, because it's too fresh. The death is too fresh, and I can see that. Actually, it's no different than a psychic or like Lena talking to one of your dead family members. It's
Right.
Yeah.
kind of all the same thing.
It is, yeah.
So if you don't mind a psychic, talking to your loved ones, then you shouldn't mind us.
Yeah.
Because we're all doing the same thing, And we're not disrespectful. We have all the empathy for them, and we've all lost family members ourselves and stuff. So it's with the greatest respect that we would.
Do you think that's the same as everybody who goes out and goes out to cemeteries at any time of the day and just going around doing that?
No, I don't. I think a lot of people, they want the scare tactics. They want the gore and the horror.
Well,
of it all.
they want the thrill of actually catching that voice or that, it's, yeah. I don't know.
I'd rather find that connection where I'm connecting, the voice to history,
Right.
to that. Is there any possible way to actually make that connection that this is who I'm actually talking to? Can you connect yourself to a gravestone or the person that's supposedly in this house? I like connecting the dots. If it's just a random voice, which we get in a lot of places, we go into a house thinking that It's supposedly this female, and there's no other death that's ever happened in the house, and blah blah blah. But yet we end up recording a male voice talking back to us and stuff like that instead of the female.
So I got a question for you, and I'm gonna go take this back to a situation, you know, that we all know, you know, Leo's, that he's related, where was, you know, he knew one of the people that were in that situation. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Okay, so one of my questions is, I had a friend of mine, a couple years after this had happened, called me and said, "Hey, Ruff, have you remember the such and such?" And I said, "Yeah." "You ever been out there and done an investigation?" And I go, "Nope." And he said, "Some buddies of mine went out there and we caught some stuff. You need to get out there." Okay, so my question to everybody that's listening to this is, okay, you could look at this
and real quick, it was a murder. We'll just say that.
Yeah, it was a murder.
It was murder.
It was it was bad. And so my question is, so if he probably, this person I'm talking about, you know, and Michael, if you're listening, this kind of what we talked about last night is, you know, if you go out there and you ask the right questions, hopefully you could get the right answers that you're looking for, instead of just going out there, somebody with a recorder, and going, "Ooh, are you here? Are you know what I'm," because you don't know. But my question is, okay, so that's a specific spot that happened. Your chances of anybody just going out there and getting EVPs are slim and none. But if you knew it happened out there, and you are catching these EVPs, and it's a possibility that it is them, maybe we could help them, like we've done in other homes, help people go another direction. I know if this happened to me, and I'm stuck there in this one particular spot, I would love for somebody maybe to give me some direction.
I don't think anybody can do that.
See, I think you're wrong on that, because
we don't know that much. This is all, what do you think? This is my opinion. This is your opinion. What do you think? You know, there is nobody who knows for sure.
Well, I think Lena would answer that completely different if she was here, because I think
but that's
there are ways.
But what about intelligent spirits that are actually communicating and answering back?
Well, if they want to come and talk, that's fine. The situation
I'm just saying,
you're
like,
about,
if it was me, and somebody could say, "Hey, you know, maybe if you did hear my name, holy crap, it's Ruff." Okay, and then no different than we get Robert. Okay, and then you guys go back to Lena and say, "Hey, you know, you're gonna find this crazy, but I've got this person, I got this name, this is where they passed on at that particular time. Is there, he's lost, maybe there's a way we could give him direction to go where he needs to go." Because if it was me, because it would be easier if we could tell people exactly what happened and who we're talking about, but unfortunately we can't. But if they are out there, I know they can't be happy sitting in a spot, you know?
What?
Does that make sense?
I mean, maybe because
if that is them and they can move back and forth, why are they still at that spot?
Well, see, you're only seeing it from your own perspective of a live human being, and seeing that. I asked the girl in Dodge City, "Is there anything I can do to help you in any way?" She says, "No, I'm good. You know, no." And she seems to be just fine, running around doing her thing. What if they're seeing things in a totally different way than us? And they are, obviously. Who's to say that they're sad?
Is Lena on the phone? Is she on?
And maybe it's just that energy. It's not actually them. It could be that energy, that bad energy that's and I believe in some places, that's why you walk into some places and you just feel creepy and everything.
The residual sides of the.
Yeah,
the-
and
Yeah,
maybe
that
that's-
moment,
Parts of it, yeah.
moment. It's not really their spirit or soul or what so much. It's
It's
just that moment
the
in
anger.
time.
Yeah,
And the negativity
Yeah.
that you got
and
from
it
the
just
death.
stays there.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, again, it's not a spirit, it's just the energies of the
Right.
event.
I think maybe there is like a very high percentage of chance that no, we're not going to be able to help them, move, go toward the light, that kind of situation. But there is that slim possibility on some cases you might be able to help.
Your family.
But it just depends on what you're dealing with and if you know what you're dealing
But
with.
you're never gonna know. You are never
Well-
gonna know. This is all hypothetical.
But if you
It
had
is.
somebody like, for instance, like somebody like
Kinda.
Lena, that has somebody that could maybe help that person move on.
But you don't, even with Lena, and Lena, God bless you, I have nothing, but I don't totally believe in that. I don't. Lena, I'd love to talk to you, I'd love to have you, explain to me things, because I don't understand it, I don't
Well, and
believe
see,
that she
I
can
actually-
just say, okay, go to the light and stuff, I
She
don't.
did explain here a little bit. As she stated, most of the spirits may, or say they can choose to come and go as they please. And then some of those tragedies are just that, and they are the energies. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of
The
what I was
residual
thinking.
side of it, yeah.
Yeah, and that,
And some of it we have to just, on our side of it, we have to just go with like face value of what we're catching.
Yeah.
Right.
Whether we're getting a certain name, if it's the same name, is it the same voice each time, something like that. Then we can try to maybe trust the fact that maybe this is the actual person that we're
Right.
talking to. But literally, on another flip of that, you're right. We have no idea if that is actually the right one that we're talking to.
Sure.
Because
Right.
spirits can manipulate each other, or even darker entities can actually manipulate, do voices and stuff like there at the shop. I swear to God that was you that yelled for help. That was you.
Well,
But no, it
those
wasn't.
EVPs that before you guys were around that we caught down at the Historical Anthony Theater,
Yeah.
one imitated me and one imitated Ben.
The mimics, yeah. Of
Yeah,
course.
it was insane.
And you both have a very distinct voice.
Right. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
but the earth has been here for millions of years. Things have been happening on this earth.
Unless
So
you
you
get a
don't-
Bible thumper who says it's only 6,000.
There
Just saying.
has been tragedies and everything. Life has been going on this
Yeah.
earth for
Right.
thousands and thousands of years
Yeah.
or whatever.
Millions and
Yeah,
millions.
so if you think about it, it's a clusterfuck.
Yeah, I mean, because,
Paranormal
Right.
dead people just,
Right.
they're
and there
like
could
this.
be, we
Excuse
could be
me.
stepping all over
Excuse
them
me.
now.
Excuse me.
What
Again,
about,
I mean-
ghost dinosaurs,
Well, right, yeah.
It's all energy. It's energy.
I have to apologize. I've missed a lot of this conversation, and you guys may have already talked about this. But one of the viewers brought out a point about what we were talking about when I stepped away about going to actual like crash and tragedy sites and
Right.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he said he thinks it would be best to go and talk to the family of the deceased
Right.
Yeah.
and see how they feel about it first. I think that's a very good point. I mean, because that's really and truly when it all comes down to it, who else matters? I mean,
Exactly.
you know,
Family and friends.
who cares? Who gives a rat's hairy ass if we offend someone else? I really don't.
Yeah.
But the family of the deceased,
Yeah.
that's a little bit different story. That's
I just
Yeah.
it's some people who just don't do that. They just kind of on a weekend fun thing. They go out and they go do all this stuff.
right.
They go and hide out in cemeteries. They're trespassing on the properties and
Yeah.
stuff like that. That's
Yeah, that.
it always as Larry was even talking about going to some of these sites.
Mhm.
When he was a paramedic, he just in the back of his mind was always thinking, I wonder what's still here as they're loading up and going away. And knowing and thinking about those spots later on, wonder if that energy is still there
Right.
with that moment.
Right.
And he's like, Jason, we should do this. We should go out to these places, see what we can do.
There's good basis to wonder that. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of the historical places that we go, I mean, they're centered around the hauntings that we believe are there are centered around tragedy. Gunfights, the guy getting his head taken off at in the Delano district.
Yeah.
The violence. Just tragic crap.
Yeah.
So.
And every time we do a tour, there's always somebody who asks, have you been to any of the BTK spots? My first response is, why would I want to?
Right.
Why would I want to? Like, why would I want to go to the house that had the whole family murdered?
Right.
I don't feel like that's a necessary thing that needs to happen. We know what happened. Let them be.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So
And
what's-
the family that's
real
living
quick
there
question:
now.
what's the difference between finding out a hotel 22 people burned and died upstairs, and you can't wait to get up there?
Well,
I mean, seriously.
Touche.
we go to the BTK.
I
the
mean, not in a
BTK
mean
homes.
thing, but it's like,
No.
wow, I mean,
No,
what's
you're
the
just being
difference?
a dick,
No, it's like, yeah, no disrespect.
No.
But what's the difference? Is
Well,
it
the BTK home is a home and a residence, unless
Yeah,
they're
it's
having issues there.
if they're having issues, yes, then we'd be more than happy to go. But I'm not just going to go up randomly and knock
Yeah,
on the door and
yeah.
say,
Right.
"Hey, can we come in and check this out?"
Right.
We know so and so. Sorry about that. sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry about your ears there. But no, I'm not going to go knocking on the door and asking them, "Can I come in and check this out?" Because it's such a
Yeah.
mainstream murder that
And-
happened.
So, yeah, one thing that kind of plays into that is that there are people who were intended victims who are still alive.
Yeah.
And their family members who
Yeah.
are still alive.
Exactly.
And
and
they
so
remember those people.
and that was just I mean, it shook this whole community around here to its core. When all that was going on, and then when it resurfaced, when Rader got cocky and got himself caught.
Yeah. It's
So-
like a lot of people have asked, have you been out to his, where his house was? No. There's neighbors that live right there.
I have to admit, I've driven by there. I've
Well,
never
I've
never
driven
gotten
by,
out and gone
yeah.
up there, but I have driven by there.
Yeah, and caught up in the hoopla with it. I have too. I've
Mhm.
driven by. I even drove by it when it was, it was
Still
still up
Yeah.
before they tore it down. But that's just because it was part of the
Right. Right.
frenzy that was going on. Everybody was doing that. But I also feel bad for the neighbors that had to put up with that. That's like having that Christmas house, that's decorated and everybody's driving by and parked out front listening to the
Right.
music all day long.
Right.
And your neighbors are just like, my God, I just want to get out of my house.
Christmas, please end.
Yeah. It's like, it was kind of like that for a while, I bet.
Mhm.
So,
Well, I just think if it was my family member, rest in peace, and,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't want anybody stirring it all up again. But,
Okay, I'm gonna have to step away again.
no worries.
I mean, that's just I
No.
think in that case.
And I do get what you're saying, like, why do we...
This is Jeremiah. Give me just a
But
quick
like
second
you said,
here.
it is a little different because it's not somebody's personal home.
Right.
It's actually
So, like the hotel
yeah,
that we do.
yeah. Yep.
There's a fire. We have no documentation of who died. Nothing.
Right.
We assume that there's probably a possibility of someone who died up in the hotel. We're talking about Wilson.
Mhm.
But they have no documentation on who it is. That's the thing. We've asked numerous times, and they have nothing on the place.
Really?
Yeah, well,
Well,
they had all their documentation of the
It burned
town
down,
over
yeah.
in the Opera House, and it burned down.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
they have no documentation on this stuff. They can't even tell us exactly how the sheriff died, who did it. Did he do it himself, or was he murdered, or whatnot?
Yeah, there's a different.
So that's when I'm more impelled to go, we're on it. Let's get up there. Let's do this.
Yeah, there's
But-
nobody alive knew them personally, and it's history.
Right.
Right.
It's
Right.
history.
And the house in Hutchinson that you know of,
Right.
that you guys weren't part of the group at the time, but knowing one of my first cases, going in and it's a house that a murder happened in, knowing that there's a blood stain still in the concrete of where the body was found, and just sitting there all night long replaying this over my head, how it happened, because we were told how it's happened because the guy is in jail and he said it all in court.
Yes.
And, the whole time in the house, I'm just thinking to myself, it's like, this is crazy. This is, it felt wrong. That's why I was quiet, almost the entire night there. I didn't know what to say because it was tragic. It was awful. Until I started hearing some of the stories of what she was doing in her personal life, that made me kind of open up, and then I paid the price for it because she scared the shit out of me that night. She did. She moved that tub of toys.
Oh, is that the one that?
Oh yeah, and then the very next time we went there, she shut the door on me and closed me in that room, and no one was down there with me. And it's one of those things. It's just, it impacted me with the idea of maybe we shouldn't mess with the murdered and the unless we are actually invited and people want to know for sure this is what's going on.
Right.
I agree with
And
that.
what can you do to actually help this person or entity or whatever to go away?
Yeah, like Lena stated, she says, and that's why we should observe, respect the privacy and confidentiality when murder victims, family members, etc. contact us. And she also stated that, and that's why we don't want to provoke or summon. And yeah, because again, I was talking to you guys about running into a family member that has a location that another team has done, and she stated that's one thing that they do, and she has issues with after the fact is because they provoke the spirits there in the location, and she says they don't deal with what happens for the 5 and 6 and 8 weeks afterwards. Then that's what they've been having. So yeah.
See, that's something that we've always prided ourselves with, is that we don't go in and provoke. We don't try to push it. We go in there to just try and see if we can get any simple answers from whatever's there. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it actually works, for the most part. It does work. Only occasionally have we had the opportunity to push a little harder than normal.
Right.
That's only because we had a key to the building. We were capable of going in anytime we wanted, and the owners actually told us we could.
Yeah.
Did we go full on, Zach going in there screaming and saying, come and get me, So no, we didn't, but we would call it out a little bit heavier than we would normally.
Yeah.
So, but no, we don't go in and do any of the provoking to push it, because if it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So.
One house we did out in, Halstead, didn't provoke him. He did tell me to push it. I did push it. Not literally. I said, hey, use my energies and use what you can to communicate. That's what I'm here for. We got everything here, device, eat it up.
Right.
And he did.
He did.
But, Roth here, he keeps provoking a little bit. He gets kicked.
He does, and he gets kicked for it.
He gets kicked,
Well, yeah.
Well, you don't know what you're provoking, though. You've got
exactly.
You do not know.
That's true. In that room at the hotel, they did say...
Lena, sorry.
What?
Well, she's probably
she did yell at you. That's what she said.
Okay.
What'd I say?
She goes, I am not just a psychic medium. I also an investigator and believes in good research and debunking to make sure we have clear evidence. Yeah, exactly.
And I wouldn't necessarily say what I did was pushing.
You did sit there and tell him that.
I just thought,
we're here all night.
I just thought, boy, for a colonel, I thought he'd have a little bit more oomph on him, than this. And
myself, Renee, and Max did have some pretty good stuff happen to us downstairs in the
yeah, but downstairs we're in his room,
and that's not necessarily his room.
Well, they just said that is like the most active room of the hotel, there at the Eldridge, and they said something about where the cornerstone of the room, and it has something to do with a portal, and all that. And I'm like, I don't know if I really go with that, but because
Well,
I'm
they're
like,
claiming that's still some of the original stonework from the original hotel.
but the fact that they're calling it a portal and it does this and this, they have all this. So, we're in the room. I mean, the only thing that happened was the fact that I heard loud banging coming from either somewhere in the room or down in the hallway, but it was just outside of our room. But the fact that he gets kicked and his foot kicks me, and he's pounding on me to wake up, and the flashlight keeps like coming on and off, just like like a car light, like just coming on to us.
Yeah.
Coming on to us. I said coming on to us.
He did, I heard that.
Sorry, but it just like flashing at us, but
Yeah,
it was
there's
just
nothing
funny.
worse, honestly, being in a room full of a bunch of people, and you're the only one up when this is going on, and you're like,
And Michael did make a good observation. That is why ghosts call you names.
yeah, maybe, yeah, true,
Yeah.
true.
But at the same time, the shop the shop that called you the name, it doesn't seem to like Leo too much either.
Right.
Well, we've had specific people tell us that they just think he's arrogant. And, I don't necessarily think it's he's arrogant. When you have a gift and somebody's there and you're going, look, I know you're here.
Yeah.
I don't think that's arrogant. It's just going, talk to me.
Well,
Yeah.
like what
You
what you said happened the very first night. You guys were all there, doing a big group night there. I was out of town. I think I was up at the Mayo Clinic with my wife, and you guys are about ready to leave. There's a storm coming in, so you guys are thinking, oh, we probably should. And that's when you guys heard the plastic pop open, like somebody was running through, and Leo kind of shouted out to show yourself.
Yeah.
But it's not. Yeah, he's not arrogant. He's going to stand his ground because he knows it's there.
Yeah.
And if I don't know if I see his shadow like hiding or peeking around the corner, I'm going to talk to it. I'm going to be like, look, hey, you over, get your ass over here.
Yeah.
Get over here. That's how I felt when we were at the forum. A lot of times when I saw a shadow figure actually standing at the stage looking up, I saw a figure actually run from pillar to pillar and then peek back around and everything. I was just like, get down here, why are you up there?
You're not being slick. Come down here and talk to us.
I saw you run right across there, come on. But would I know what to do if it was actually running up on me? No, I would not. No.
Okay, I'm here.
Yeah, like Paula and Leo.
Stand there.
Having something run up
Yeah.
on them and they're at the shop. No, would I know what to do with that? No, I'd probably fall down. I probably.
I can see that.
I'd probably fall backwards and be like, oh, But I don't know what I'd do because I've never had it happen.
Right.
But I've seen it from afar, and it's always like. It's like Bigfoot, just peeking around a corner and just running off and crossing paths and never, ever coming toward.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, a few weeks back when Jake and I went to a private location with Mike and Aaron and Renee, and that was just crazy. We had the shadow. I mean, he was straight down at the end of the hall and just coming around and looking at us. It was just crazy. And, this is like, just come out and talk to us. But no. We go to the end of the hall, try to find him again. We go back, and then, Jake and I are standing in the shadow, just walks right in between us and takes off right past Renee and just goes down the other end.
And you saw it.
Oh yeah.
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 See, that's kind of like at the very tail end of the evening, back in January when I met Renee, Mike, and Aaron there, and the doctors. We were only in there for a couple hours, I think.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get my video camera to work, and it wasn't picking up or wanting to do anything right. So we were getting ready to leave, and I was like, hey, Renee, you ready to call it? Let's just go. Been here just 2 hours, but let's go. And as soon as I turn around, I look down at the end of the hallway, and I see a figure actually go from room to room.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, we run down there, and as we run, we're passing right past Mike and the owner's wife.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron was, I think, either behind them or in another room, but no one was down there in that hallway. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
We've been here all night, nothing's happened, It's
And
like,
then you're packing
in
up
the
and-
moment we say, let's call it a night, and then something happens. It's like you win the spotlight, you know. It's just they're like, yep, it's time to go. It's time for you to go, you know. But anyway, we got about 3 minutes left.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, hey, you will next time we're there, right? You're gonna see it. I'll take you down there.
We need. Are we any plans on doing that spot? Did you guys all talk about that?
Mike, is there any more opportunities? Do you know?
Said what? Sorry, I'm a little distracted here.
No,
No.
that's all right. No, we're just talking. So,
Mike.
you ready for Boo Hill? You guys ready for Boo Hill?
Ready for Boo Hill.
I'm ready.
I have no
I
idea
can't
on the
wait.
dates yet. On the dates for that, probably need to get with Boo Hill and figure out dates for doing that. I know we're going on the 26th. You said you can't.
Cannot do that.
Ah, okay.
That's when I'm gonna be puppy sitting.
Puppy sitting. That's not too
Aaron.
bad.
All right, Mike told me to talk to you, Aaron. Aaron, are you here?
But anyway, so we're gonna. I don't know how we're gonna do the 26th. I don't know if we're able to do anything live there at Boot Hill. Not sure yet. I'll get details of when we show up on the 26th, but we may be able to
Cool.
do some live footage and stuff like that. with
That would
everything
be really
night.
cool.
So
Aaron says she'll ask. There's no plans at this point.
yeah, okay, because I'd like to get get the group in there.
Yeah.
To actually do coordinate a night where we can all be in there for that, because I think that place like actually needs to have a full on.
Mhm.
We had like 70-mile-an-hour winds this last time, so we did have a little bit of issues
Yeah.
with that. But there were shadows for sure.
Yeah,
Cool.
that wind was awful traveling out there.
Yeah, well, I bet.
Lost one of my car magnets on the way out there.
Did you?
Yeah, so somewhere there's free advertisement of our team along the road somewhere. Hopefully it didn't hit a car. I was afraid of that. I heard something. You know, we're driving and I heard something, but I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, that was the car magnet flying off the
Somebody's
truck.
got that in their garage now.
I was just afraid it was going to hit somebody in the back, behind us and hit their windshield or something,
Yeah.
They
But
probably went straight to the ground.
it
Or
probably
the car that passed you.
did. Free advertisement, I say.
Free advertisement, yes.
Yeah. Actually, it wasn't free. I paid for that. That's now I need to make more. But anyway, so a lot coming, and a lot to do this year so far, and we keep gathering more locations. So we've got more coming.
Right.
But
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Good stuff coming up.
yep,
All right. In the meantime, I think we've about
it's 9
worn
o'clock.
up,
We're 2 hours
eaten up
in.
our time tonight. So, before you guys go, hit like and share on everything you can, and don't forget to hang around next week for more of the same kind of craziness. So,
Yeah.
more bear poking.
Yeah, and we'll have more information hopefully on Boot Hill too as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
So
be working on Boot Hill.
Blue deal.
That just.
Yeah.
Yep.
I deflect. It's kind of like what we talked earlier about the spirits not messing
You
with
just
me.
hear what you
deflect. Yeah.
just
You're
hear,
just that badass.
You just hear what you want to hear.
Have a good evening, Mike.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
We will see you next time.